If you're watching this video, you probably already love flying. But by now, you've discovered that, unlike the birds, man cannot fly free. That's why SkyStar has developed an entire line of home-built aircraft designs that make aircraft ownership accessible to everyone.
Well, the costs of flying a conventional airplane as opposed to a kit plane are dramatically different. And that was the one big reason why I chose to build a kit plane, my Pulsar.
You can go out and buy a cheap Cessna or a Piper or whatever, but that's just the tip of the iceberg as far as expenses. On this airplane, I can do all my own maintenance. We burn about 4.5 gallons an hour of fuel. We really feel like the actual hours we put on it are of basically no expense other than the auto fuel that we run.
I can't believe how economical this airplane is to fly compared to the Skylane that I used to own. Well, there is no comparison. I can come out with 5 gallons of gas and put in this and fly till I can't stand to sit down anymore.
The SkyStar Aircraft Corporation is one of the world's largest and most experienced manufacturers of owner-assembled aircraft. SkyStar's original Kitfox made its debut in 1984. With classic 1930s styling, the Kitfox exhibited the kind of value and performance that attracted a lot of attention. Today, based on years of engineering experience and builder input, SkyStar's high wing designs have evolved into sophisticated Lycoming and Continental-powered alternatives to certificated factory-built aircraft.
When I was flying my Skylane and it was costing me in the neighborhood of $80 an hour to own it and maintain it, I'm thinking every minute that we're up how much it's costing. With this, there is no cost considerations.
Since 1984, SkyStar has delivered more than 3,000 aircraft kits all over the world. And as of 1998, over 2,400 of them have been completed. SkyStar aircraft sell for less than a third of what comparable factory-built airplanes cost. Yet they offer the kind of performance, value, and economy that the traditional aircraft manufacturers in Wichita and Kerrville can only dream about. Yet SkyStar's Voyager and Outback meet the same FAA Part 23 standards as certificated designs.
The things that are the most important, I think, in any kit that you look at is, number one, is it safe? That has to be the number one priority. And that's what I like a lot about the Pulsar. And I appreciate it more now than I did when I started or before I bought the kit. I researched that, but as I've built it, I've found that there are many systems within the Pulsar that have really taken safety into account.
We looked at 3 basic criteria, the first one being safety, the second one being safety, and then the third one being safety. And there's a real easy way to check that out when you eliminate it down to which airplane you're looking at. Call your insurance company and have them check and see what the safety record is. If there's enough of them out, they should be able to give you a good idea on the safety. And so that's kind of what led us to this airplane.
People have asked me about the safety, and are there any risks with a kit-built plane? And my answer is the materials are so high quality. Of course, it's all aircraft grade. And I think in some ways the materials are better than what you'd expect because of the safety, because obviously the factory wants to make sure it's a safe plane.
SkyStar's new home in Caldwell, Idaho is a showplace of modern aircraft technology. Fuselage components for all of SkyStar's high-wing aircraft are made of aircraft-grade 4130 chrome moly steel, fully welded using massive precision jigs. And to make sure the airframes stay strong no matter where they'll be built, an optional corrosion-proof epoxy powder coating is baked on before shipment. Wing ribs are made using the finest Multiply Finland birch, and spars are made of rugged aircraft-grade aluminum. And if you're flying mostly from unimproved strips, you can choose the heavy-duty spring aluminum landing gear option in place of the standard steel and bungee cord variety.
All of our aircraft are incredibly strong. We've repeatedly tested the airframe to 5.8 Gs. In fact, since the first Kitfox took to the air, we've had no in-flight structural failures.
Over on the composite side of the SkyStar factory, Pulsar 3 fuselage and wing components are manufactured using the latest space-age materials and technology. Precision vacuum molds are used to create all Pulsar components. Once the pre-impregnated fiberglass composite material has been laid up and smoothed inside the mold, the molds are then rolled into huge ovens where they are baked at a constant temperature until the composites have fully cured. To make the Pulsar as simple as possible to build, the fuselage halves are joined at the factory, and the aircraft is shipped with all composite parts and most of the hardware already machined and ready to bolt together.
There are very few questions that need to be asked if you'll read the manual through. Anyone can build it.
The manuals that I got from the factory were excellent. Again, one step at a time, and the directions were very clear. I had very few problems where I didn't understand what was intended.
The new manual that they've put out is very easy to understand. It's very concise. The progression is logical. They don't tell you to do one thing and then later on tell you that you needed to do something else first.
The manual was easy to follow. There were no surprises in it. It was very well laid out, easy to understand. And on the time or two I did have a question, I simply called, and then it became readily apparent what they meant. And I think I called twice during the whole assembly process. So it was not difficult. If you have, reasonable skills, it's easy to do. But it's something you're going to be very, very proud of when you get done.
If you do have a question, you'll be glad to know that there's always a friendly, knowledgeable voice at the other end of SkyStar's customer support line. If your customer support rep doesn't have the answer you need, they'll research the issue and get back to you as quickly as possible. The most recent addition to SkyStar's high wing line is the revolutionary new Kitfox Light. A true ultralight in the legal sense, the Kitfox Light is actually a real airplane, engineered to stay within the FAA's ultralight weight limits. The Kitfox Light features the same type of tough, welded chrome moly frame found in bigger SkyStar models. Plus, it has standard aircraft-type controls. SkyStar's highly effective flaperons for excellent low-speed handling. The Kitfox Light has a gross weight of just 500 pounds, yet its useful load is an amazing 250 pounds. So obviously, it's designed to accommodate real-world adults, not jockey-sized test pilots. On a standard day, the Kitfox Light can take off in just 100 feet. That's right, just 100 feet. The Kitfox Light has a remarkably short build time, usually under 200 hours, so you'll be out of the box and into the sky in no time at all. No hanger? No problem. All SkyStar's tube and fabric designs have wings that can be quickly and easily folded back for transport and storage. If you're looking for a flexible yet economical aircraft, rugged enough for the backcountry, you're looking for the Kitfox Classic. The latest refinement of the original Kitfox design, the Classic, features a new control system that makes it one tail dragger anyone can handle. The Classic is flexible too. It can be outfitted with skis or even floats. And if you're worried about the performance penalty, don't be. Even on floats, the Classic can break water in under 10 seconds. So there's almost no fishing hole too small or runway too short to explore. For those pilots who are more comfortable flying a tri-gear airplane, check out SkyStar's new Voyager. Even with 2 full-size adults and 150 pounds of baggage on board, there's still plenty of room in the front office because the Voyager's cockpit is actually wider than a Beechcraft Bonanza's. A new Voyager sells for a small fraction of what a new 172 would cost, yet it's engineered to meet the same tough Part 23 standards, making it the perfect training platform.
We found the airplane to be spirited, but very easy to control. It's very forgiving. We used it for primary instruction for my wife, who started out from basically no flying experience through her license in this airplane and has now put about 100 hours in it, and I'm very comfortable letting her fly it.
The Voyager has the kind of performance that will please even the most experienced pilot.
It's a very sporty airplane to fly. It's very light, very smooth on the controls, very responsive, has very good low-speed characteristics. But it's nimble. It's not like the production airplanes that I've flown.
Landing a Voyager is so easy. Even low-time pilots will be able to make the first turnoff without heavy braking. If you're the type who's always dreamed of flying the bush in your very own Super Cub, has SkyStar got an airplane for you? It's our all-new Outback. With its aggressive performance and outstanding load-carrying ability, the Outback actually redefines the term bush plane. In fact, with the optional 125 horsepower fuel-injected Continental on the nose, an Outback will actually outperform a Super Cub.
Oh, it's real easy to fly. It does exactly what you tell it to do when you tell it to do it. It has more than enough power. It's just a blast to fly. I love to go up at 2,000 feet a minute.
Imagine owning an airplane that can carry half its 1,550-pound gross weight in payload. An airplane capable of taking off in as little as 150 feet. An airplane that can land short and slow on any type of strip, anywhere. Basically, imagine owning a Jeep that flies. The Outback fills all these requirements and more. Unlike SkyStar's traditional tube and fabric aircraft, the Pulsar 3 is an all-composite design, engineered for performance, speed, and endurance.
I saw a picture of a Pulsar in one of the kit plane magazines, and it just jumped out at me. It was the most beautiful airplane I'd ever seen. And I thought, that's a kit. Could I build that? At first I thought, there's any way I could build that. And then I kept thinking, gaining more and more confidence. And I said to myself, you know what? I can build that. I'm going to go ahead and get one.
Started out, and I bought a plan for a totally plans-built airplane. And after looking at the plan and realizing how much time it would take to build that, I just decided that no, I need to buy a kit. And from looking in the magazines, the prettiest little airplane I'd ever seen was the Pulsar. To me, that was the perfect shape that an airplane should be. I knew that it was fast, and I knew that it would be quiet compared to the old certifieds that I've been flying. And it was everything I expected it to be and more, and where it was more was in its stability. It was phenomenal in my mind how stable that little airplane is.
It's like putting your arms out and flying. Going up, down, looping around, just total freedom. It's fast. It's easy to fly. I'm a relatively low-time pilot, and it's a dream to fly.
It's easy to see why the Pulsar has become so popular. A Pulsar 3 can take off in as little as 500 feet. Climb at 2,000, that's right, 2,000 feet per minute. And cruise in the flight levels. Imagine building an airplane that zips along at a blistering 200 miles per hour. An airplane that's strong and powerful enough to perform like an aerobatic aircraft, yet comfortable and fast enough to carry you and a passenger 1,000 miles non-stop on 28 gallons of auto gas. Here's what Flying Magazine's Robert Goyer had to say about the all-new Pulsar 3.
I flew the Pulsar in Idaho recently and found the airplane to be a fast, sporty runabout with excellent slow-speed manners. Nimble, with nicely harmonized controls, the Pulsar is a joy to fly and features impressive performance. At 5,500 feet, we were cruising out better than 150 knots while burning less than 5 gallons per hour.
It's just, it's incredible. The airplane draws a crowd everywhere you go. I just got through with a cross-country trip to Bar Harbor, Maine in my Pulsar, and it was so much fun going on that trip and stopping in all the different airports. It draws a crowd. Everybody came out, they wanted to know what it was, and they were so excited to see it. It's a fabulous cross-country airplane, as well as being a great local sightseeing airplane. Everyone loves it.
The boom in owner-assembled aircraft ownership is much more than a fad. It's the very future of general aviation. And SkyStar is at the forefront of this rapidly growing industry. If you don't believe it, check out the number of SkyStar aircraft on the ramp next time you go to Oshkosh, Sun and Fun, or SkyStar's factory fly-in, which annually draws hundreds of SkyStar owners from as far away as Australia. Even respected finance and insurance companies are offering very attractive terms to SkyStar buyers. So what are you waiting for? Get out of your chair and into the air. Call SkyStar today, and we'll show you how easy it can be to build and fly your own airplane.
Now that we have our Kitfox done, it's wonderful because my husband is actually learning to fly. He wouldn't learn to fly because we could rent 152s because that's about our price range for renting airplanes, and he is too big.
She took me up for a ride in a Cessna 150. And the 150 was cramped. I could barely fit in it with her. It was uncomfortable. It was old. It was relatively well maintained, but it was a 20-plus-year-old airplane that had seen a lot of use. And that's pretty much what you run into when you rent an airplane.
Now that we have the Kitfox, he just goes out and he flies it all the time. One of the things that I really like about the airplane is that I can just toss Zach in and we can go flying anytime we want. And he feels safe enough to get in there, and my husband does, and so do I. And while we were building it, it was always known that Zach would be the co-pilot. And after we flew off the 40 hours, he was the first passenger.
Call SkyStar today, and we'll show you how easy it can be to build and fly your own airplane.